From Monday the 24th to Saturday the 29th of July, Funny Girl is at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre. Somebody who is no stranger to the show, Darius Campbell, who joins me now on the phone. Hello.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Just backstage right now, and it's such a pleasure. After we opened it in London with Sheridan Smith, Natasha Barnes helped take over when Sheridan had a little break, and now they're starring as Fanny Bryce in the #1 romantic musical comedy of all time, and I get to be the leading man. So pinch me, because I get to do it now 18 months on, and we're still performing to standing ovations. I mean, I feel very, very lucky.
An amazing musical. It made Barbra Streisand 50 years ago, and it's doing great things as part of this tour across the UK now. And at the Grand, Natasha J. Barnes due to join us as well. And alongside yourself, you know, you've got such experience in this musical. It's going to be an absolute treat for anyone who comes along and sees it.
We've got some of the best music scores and some of the best songs maybe of the last 70 years. The show's 50 years old, and it hasn't been performed since the original Barbra Streisand version, which set her into stardom. And they made a film with Omar Sharif, and it won 5 Academy Awards. And so it's seeped in history, and it has such a wonderful, joyful, whimsical. And I think that the female character is one that women really identify with in different ways. Different generations, younger girls, and women that have children and grandchildren, they relate to this Fanny Bryce character. She was a real ugly duckling to swan story, and she was someone that didn't entirely fit in. And I think that we can all relate to that feeling, and particularly now at a time, you know, post-Brexit, at a time when people are rising up about our political choices, our president, our groups of individuals that don't necessarily identify with the larger choices that are being made politically. I think people right now feel a little out of sorts, and I think that they want to feel special and they want to feel part of something bigger. And Fanny Bryce, definitely was one of those individuals, and she set her own path with someone that I think was a feminist icon and someone that really created a huge impact in her industry. She went from being rejected, which is something that we also identify when we see all of our reality TV shows nowadays seem to be based on the idea of pick me, whether it's Dancing with the Stars and Strictly Come Dancing, or whether it's X Factor and The Voice. We seem to have that as an idea within entertainment that really is everywhere. And it wasn't something that we saw much, but it was something that she rose up against. The highest paid female performer in the world, $20,000 a week, which in today's money is silly money. And so she's someone definitely that we need to tip our hat to, and I respect hugely. And to be able to tell her story on stage is really special.
From the Brooklyn Music Hall beginnings to being that Broadway star, an amazing journey and brought to life in an amazing musical. And I mean, you've experienced a number of shows. You couldn't have possibly imagined that you would be playing roles like this when you first started out at the tender age of about 18, 19, first hitting our TV screens with some amazing performances back in the early part of the 2000s.
Absolutely. I mean, when I look back, I can't believe it was 17 years since I did the original audition, and 15 years since my song Colorblind went to #1, and it's been 2005 when I first took to the West End boards and played as Billy Flynn in Chicago, and I've been so lucky to have worked with my heroes, Sir Trevor Nunn, Sir Tim Rice, and taken the lead in musicals that I've loved being part of, and stories that are classic leading man romantic stories, from Gone with the Wind to Guys and Dolls to From Here to Eternity. So Funny Girl is one that really is the jewel in the crown of musicals, and is one that we seem to be so lucky to be entertaining audiences up and down the country with. To no dissipation of energy. I don't know how our leading ladies do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, and to go from the West End onto a tour, that must be, again, an amazing experience. And have you played Wolverhampton before, or is this your first time in the city?
I've played Wolverhampton before. It's a great theatre. I love the people with Wolverhampton. We've had, I remember actually groggily, a very hungover experience after having performed in Wolverhampton. I'm not sure if that will be something I'm reenacting this time, but I'm really looking forward to being there for the whole week.
Great to have you along, and all the roles that you play, whether it be as you're an ambassador for the Prince's Trust or whether you're on stage singing your heart out, I know that you give this absolutely your all. And what drives you to those performances?
Really, for me, it's about being of service and trying to serve the role, trying to serve the people that I'm performing to by giving a great performance, service and giving back. I try to bring everything that I'm doing back to the idea of service because, the ultimate failure in life is having success without fulfillment, whether it be material success, whether it be figurative, to be able to share that with our family, our community, later, the wider scope of people that we touch. And so service for me is kind of everything, and that's what I keep coming back to. So it's great to be of service.
On the stage now, probably no time to be thinking about writing songs, but is that something you keep going in the background for your own personal time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. I write songs and keep coming back to a love of literature and poetry, and I try and keep a multidisciplinary approach to everything that I do creatively. And writing is a dear love of mine, and one that I started with as a kid. I was writing at the age of 12, my first love song at the age of 14, and totally got rejected by the girl I sang that to. And I look back and I'm grateful for all the experiences that allow me to write songs. So, yeah, no, my next project music will be an album. So I've gone through 2 iterations of albums that never got released. Maybe we'll revisit some of those and they'll be entirely new songs. But recently I've been putting pen to paper again, and I'm excited to get back into the studio and do some more recording.
But not only do you write songs, there's obviously the written word in the form of books as well. And you've been on the Sunday Times bestseller list. Again, might we see a return to that top listing for you?
I think that variety is the spice of life. Variety, I think, is really important whenever you're in the entertainment industry. It's a cutthroat industry, and it's not a very certain one. I really feel for the contestants that I see on reality shows like The Voice and The X Factor, and you see them and their hopes come to fruition, and then within 6 months or a year they're dropped and kicked to the side because the next TV show comes along and it's to have a new star, a new winner, and be done with the old one. So I feel for my colleagues and for the next generation, and I feel that that's why variety is important, so that you're not pigeonholed and you can keep giving back in different ways.
Well, certainly with what you've done, you could no way be pigeonholed, from opera through musicals, through pop, and everything else in between. Absolutely fantastic work. We're so looking forward to seeing you at the Grand Theatre. It's Funny Girl. It's Monday the 24th through to Saturday the 29th of July. It's alongside Natasha J. Barnes. It's going to be a great show. We are guaranteed that. The reviews that tell us you two work so well together. Tickets from thegrandtheatre.co.uk online, or 01902 429212, which is the box office number. But for now, Darius Campbell, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the city of Wolverhampton very soon.
It's such a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time. I look forward to seeing everyone that's listening to this podcast at the show come back to the stage door after. It would be my pleasure to sign autographs and do photos.
There you go. There's going to be a queue now. You've already said it, so we look forward to seeing you round the block at the Grand. Darius, thanks again.
Thanks so much. Thanks again.